This is video number 4 about the differences between the base Civ 5 game and Lek mod. Video number 4 is about Barbarians. This is the 4th video, so I put it as sort of roughly the 4th most important. How important could Barbarians be? Well, actually, they're pretty darn important. Barbarians are one of the main sort of limiting factors of your early game. They can kill your units, they can steal your civilian units, they can pillage your tiles, they can essentially be a big nuisance. It's something you see a lot from sort of weaker players, is that they always complain they're having trouble with barbs. There's too many barbs. They're so unlucky, and it seems like they're unlucky every game. Well, maybe they're just not understanding the different ways barbs work from the base game. There are 3 main differences you really have to keep an eye out for. Difference number 1 is that there's no radaring. It used to be that you could take a civilian unit and you could see if there was a unit on any given tile by whether or not you could move there. So see, for example, I see this barbarian here. So it says I cannot move my unit there, my civilian unit there. In the base version of the game, you could test where enemy units or barbs were based on this sort of exploiting this gimmick, exploiting this mechanic. So for example, there's a barb camp here. In the base game, if I couldn't see this barb camp, I could hover my unit over this, my right click, and I could say, oh, it's red, I know there's a barb there. And then I could have, in this way, I could, for example, move a settler up knowing that it was going to be safe. So for example, if I wanted to settle here, I could go, okay, there's no barb here, no barb here, no barb here, no barb here, safe to move up. Well, now you can't do that anymore. So what you need is more units to protect your settlers and workers. I usually end up building 3 scouts in the early game. So that's a total of 4 units. So your starting warrior plus 3 scouts, plus whatever upgrade units you get. And that is just to make sure as I settle, as I improve my luxes, I'm not constantly being interrupted by barbs. So newer players usually don't build enough barbs, or don't build enough units to counter the barbs, and they get surprised because the crutch they used to rely on was this radaring, and now that it's gone, they're having trouble without it. Big difference number 2 is no longer you can't be surprised by barb camps anymore. It used to be that barb camps would spawn and you would not see them because it was something exclusive to opening honor, whether you could see barb camps or not. Now, as long as you have selected one policy, you can see any barb camps that you sort of uncovered in the Frog of War. So for example, I actually haven't seen this camp, but because it spawned and I had already seen this tile, I can see the camp. I know it's spawned there, so I'm not going to get surprised by barbs coming from this direction. I'm not going to move a settler up there thinking there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden there's a barb camp. So this is sort of makes things a bit easier. It's a sort of counter to this other point. Now that you don't have radaring, you still can't be surprised by sort of appearing barb camps all of a sudden. The third change is another sort of easier change, so to speak. Barbs cannot spawn and move at the same time. And this is a big help, because a camp that's empty is essentially a camp that's not a current threat. Before, say I had a worker improving this bison and this camp was empty, that would not be safe because a barb could spawn and immediately move and take my worker. Or imagine I had my settler right here on this grain tile and it was unguarded. That would not be a safe location because a barb could spawn there, move and take my settler. That's gone. So now you only have to worry about essentially the barbs you can see. You don't have to worry about a barbarian spawning and snatching one of your units, or killing one of your military units. So that's sort of a big help. So that's the 3 big changes to Barbarians. It's a big difference in how you sort of manage them, because with the general map shape, you do tend to get more camps spawning near you than before. Often you'll be surrounded by 3 or 4 camps. So you've got the one negative in that you don't have raidering, but you have 2 bonuses now that you can see barb camps that spawn, and that they can't spawn and move. That sort of offset that increased number of barbs.